Special guest here today, Jason Cavness. Please correct me if I'm saying that right or
That's
wrong.
perfect.
That's
Perfect.
perfectly. Thank you. Thank you. I often don't get it right the first time. Thank you for that. But we are here with a special guest. This person, I am not going to lay out all of his bio right here, but what I am proud to say that he has served over 25 years as a U.S. military officer. For I am prior military myself, so it's always a wonderful feeling to sit down with a fellow brother and share some of those old stories, of being back in the enlisted days, and in your case, the officer days.
So I was actually enlisted for the first 8 years.
Oh, so
Yeah,
you got
I
the best
know.
of both worlds. You got the best
Yeah.
of both worlds. But yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So this is always hard for me, right? You got to kind of bragging yourself, right? I always had a challenge for this, but like I tell people, I'm an INFJ retired army officer. So why I say INFJ for those who do the Meyer Briggs, INFJ supposedly, if you believe what's on the internet, there's only 1 to 3% of us in the world, right? We're kind of strange, kind of weird, right? Like I said, like I'm an introvert, but I love to talk in front of people, right? Like
Yep.
I hate networking events unless I'm running it. If it makes any sense, right?
For sure, for sure. I'm
Yeah.
the same way. You can invite me. If you don't invite me, I'll be offended, but I'm probably not going.
Exactly, right, yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, like, I suck at networking unless I'm the one in charge of it.
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no. So, tell us about your company, Cavness HR. Give us a little bit of insight about what that is and how you got started.
Yeah, so how I got started so first I'll tell the story how I got started in HR in the Army. So in the Army, HR is called AG, right? People ask me all the time, "How you get started in HR?" So this I think it's a funny story. So I was, like, 18, 19, wasn't doing the best thing of my life. My life was, like, pretty sucky, right? And so, the recruiter came, I took the ASVAB test, and I said, "Hey, I need to get out of here as soon as I can," right? 'Cause, like, life's not good for me right here, right?
Sure.
And so took the ASVAB test. And he said, "Well, since you want to leave as soon as possible, I have two choices for you." Now, the first choice was to be a parachute repairman. So they show the video. It's like 100 dudes in a hot ass warehouse, sweaty, like this. And I could only go to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, Fort Benning, Georgia, right? I don't like those choices. What's the second choice? Now, before I tell you the second choice, remember I'm like 18, 19 years at the time, right?
Hmm.
Next one is AG. They show this video with some like pretty decent looking females, not air conditioned office, right? And I could go to Germany. Like it wasn't even close, right? So
Yeah.
I picked AG, go to Germany. But of course, you know what happens? Get to Germany 2 weeks later, I'm in the field for 45 days. And,
Mm,
and there's only one female in the whole unit, right?
mm,
And then how I got started in the startup. So I retired from the Army in 2015. I was on LinkedIn trying to find a job. This guy named Mark Carrell reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, Jason, I see you're trying to find a job and you're leaving the Army, but I have a startup called Meyer Fold. We want to help college graduates, military veterans find jobs, but not using the resumes like doing skills tests. Can we meet in person? You tell me how the Army's helping you out and others find a job." Like, sure, but one question for you. What in the blank is a startup? Like, I had no clue. Like, you just can't start a company. That's all the companies, Amazon, Boeing, they already exist. What are you talking about, right? So he explained to me, he laughed, explained to me. And a light bulb went in my head, like, you never talk about HR. He
yes.
said, "No, we don't do HR right now." No light bulb went off. Like, meaning you have to seem like you kind of click. Let me join your startup and learn this stuff and do HR for you. And he first said, I don't know really, but you know how we are. Like, I pretty much hired myself, right? I started going to network events, doing this stuff. I pretty much hired myself. So I learned like social media, business development, sales, all this kind of stuff, right? And no, like most startups didn't make it, but when it was shutting down, like, man, none of these startups have HR. Maybe it's a business I can do, right? And, I did the research. According to the Small Business Administration, there's like 49 or fewer people. There's like 5,000 those 5 million of those type of companies, right? And just went at it from there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we get into the actual, nuts and bolts of your company, I want to talk about, something that a lot of soldiers have to deal with, especially when they're going through that transition of, I'm getting out of the military and now I'm getting into the workforce or the entrepreneurial space. Uh, After being told what to do for so long, how was that transition for you to become a self starter, in your industry?
It's pretty good for me, like, because being an officer, you pretty much do yourself your own. Like, I talk about this in my podcast all the time. A lot of veterans, like, it's hard for them, right? Because you in the military, you're told what to do, where to go, 9 to 5, on and on, right? And a lot of veterans, they get out, they still expect to be spoon fed.
Yep.
and no one's gonna spoon feed you, right? And a lot of veterans have a hard time with that, real hard time. I know a lot do, right? It's a
Absolutely.
challenge.
Absolutely. I was a cook. So, 92 golf, our whole lives were scheduled.
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Cook's Mount, go to the motor pool, do
Yep.
MCSs, get back to breakfast, lunch, dinner. And so that was one of the hardest transitions for me,
It's
getting
hard
into
for
the
people.
military was, to not have that schedule. And then what am I doing with my time? How do
Yeah,
I?
and no one's taking care of you, no one's looking out for you,
Yep.
You can't go to your NCO or whoever the case may be for, like, mentoring. It's like, it's you, it's only you.
Yep, yep. There's no push-ups to be had if you make a mistake.
No.
Mistake, your lights get cut off.
Yeah, exactly, right, yeah.
So it's a little bit more, to the reality of the situation. So upon exiting the military, getting into your business, tell us about what was that fork in the road for you to just get started.
So I had, like, after the Army, I had 2 post-Army jobs, right? I had a job had an HR job at Trident Seafoods in Alaska at a seafood plant,
Sure.
and I had a job at an HR director at one of the local colleges, right?
Hmm.
Both were, like, kinda horrible experiences, right? Like example, at the job in Alaska, right? I told myself, "I'm not gonna be one of those guys who, like, have checklists and run everything, blase, blase." Like,
Yeah.
I'm really gonna, like, to kinda calm down, like, go with the flow, right? And so, like, 60 days in, the boss told me, "Hey, Jake, you're doing a great job, but, we actually need you to slow down a little bit because, people complain, make it look bad." I thought to myself, "Dude, I'm working like 30% capacity, right? Like, do you want me to work like day on, day off, right?" It's like, yeah, those kind of things. I mean, in the military, we're like, get stuff done. And a lot of civilians are not like that, right? They're just like go along for the road, so to speak. That was the big challenge, the politics of it all, right?
Absolutely. So what was your spark within just human resources in general? Like, what made you say this is it for me?
I mean, basically, it's like only thing I really know. I mean, I've learned a lot since then, but like, I think all companies need HR. A lot of them don't have it. Like, a lot of small business, they want HR, but like a person like me, that's 80,000 or more plus benefits, they can't afford that. Then you have like the HR companies like ADP, Trinet, Zenefits, Bambi that give you templates, one size fit all, and like you ask them a question, they might never respond to you. And then the who I really want to part of this is the HR consultants, right? Like suppose I'm an HR consultant, they get paid for $100 to $500 an hour. But
Hmm.
y'all hire me as an HR consultant, right? You pay me $300 an hour. I'm gonna say, hey Drake, you need one, two, three, four, five, et cetera, et cetera. You be like, Jason, I kind of already knew this, so I hired you. When are you gonna start producing? I'm like, oh, I don't produce. I just, I consult you. So it makes
Absolutely.
no sense. You're gonna pay me $300 an hour to tell you what to do? Like, it's kind of, ass backwards, you ask me. But a lot of, now, don't get me wrong, there's some consultants that do really good, do a good job. I don't think most don't. And I think, and obviously, like, you need to get paid what you need to get paid, right? But I
Hmm.
think too many HR consultants are like more like, I need to get paid $125 an hour and not worry about the value they bring the company, right?
Sure. Is it me or was everybody during COVID a consultant?
Oh, yeah, everyone, yeah. With stuff that had no idea, I'm a social media consultant and don't have like maybe had like 5 followers on Instagram or something.
Everyone was everywhere I looked. It was consultant, 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 and it's like you want me to pay you X amount of dollars to tell me something that I can find off YouTube.
Exactly. That's some kind of value, make it worth my time. Like, yeah, I just don't get it right.
Absolutely.
And what gets me too, especially in a startup, all the time people will say, well, first of all, it's like there's like 10,000 X, like 10,000 social media companies, 10,000 market company. All of them will say, hey, pay me $10,000 a month and I'll make your startup better. Like, no.
Absolutely. So coming into the game, of HR, was there somebody that pulled you to the side? Even on your journey, your spark of developing your company, those startup days, those late hours. Who was that one person that pulled you to the side and kind of gave you some free game on how to get things done?
Uh, I want to say a lot of people, right? I mean, there's Nick Hughes from Founders Live, Mark Monroe. I mean, I got a lot of good advice from a lot of people. But of course, on the other side, I got lot of bad advice from other people too, right? I mean, all advice not good advice. And that's something like I tell founders, like, take everything with a grain of salt, right? Because like somebody might have the best intentions or whatever, but their advice is from like 1977, right? And still have
Absolutely.
in mind. And basically, you got to go make mistakes, right? I mean, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes over and over again. Like as a founder, entrepreneur world, it's like, and it's hard, right? It's like, it sucks sometimes, right? I mean, you're gonna hear no all of the time. You're gonna get kicked in the teeth all the time. But you just gotta. yeah, you got to have passion for it, right? You got to believe what you're doing, right? If you don't have passion for it, you're going to quit in 6 months and you're going to waste a lot of money in those 6 months.
Absolutely, absolutely. Where was that? Where was that? I'd say a light bulb that went off in your head that taught you to reinvest into yourself, reinvest back into the business.
Oh man, that's a great question. I think really I started reinvesting myself after my second job, right?
Okay,
It's just a horrible experience. I mean, it's just like, yeah, I can't work for anyone else. So I gotta invest myself. Like, of course, I'm a retired army officer. I definitely have some advantage of other people, right? Like, I have a retirement pay coming that's pretty decent, right? Most of my bills are paid, except for all my business bills. But yeah, I just decided right then, like, I got to do something else. Like, I can't work for anyone else. And like, I'm the type of person, I'm sure you are too, right? I can't just sit on the porch and like drink beer all day long. I can't do it, right? I tried it. I would bash you crazy. Like, I think I'm one of the type of people. Like, what's the saying? I'm going to work until I'm 10 toes up. I think I'm one of those type of people, right? And if you don't reinvest yourself, you're going to be like lethargic or something, I guess.
for sure. I tell the story all the time. Like I joined the military at 19, train, go to Iraq. Walked on to Eastern Washington University's football team, didn't make the team, got sick for a while. Ended up on dialysis for about 5 years. And one of the hardest things I ever had to do was sit down in front of a resume and fill it out. Like,
Yeah, resumes, that's just such a joke, right? Like, I tell people, I mean, you don't really know. You send your resume to 25 people, you get 25 different opinions, and
yep,
none of the opinions matter, right? Because none of them are going to be hiring you.
yep, absolutely. I was a little bit of a dinosaur when I filled out my resume. I thought I was going to have to print out 50 of them and go and hand out resumes like Christmas
we're,
candy.
we're, we're old school, knocking on doors. Are you hiring?
No, it is not like that at all. Can you kind
No.
of talk to us? Talk to the audience about how that process has changed over the years for you being in HR and also being on the other side of it as well.
It's changed so much, right? I mean, it's all about networking, right? I mean, like, for example, when I was like a HR director at a local college, right? But any day we'd have like 20 positions, right?
Mhm.
Any position might have at least 20 resumes, right? There's no way we can go through all those resumes, even the ATS, right? And so you click the screening out. And one thing I tell people, like, everyone has a bias, right? So with me, like, if I saw a military veteran, I took a closer look. Now, we were wrong. If the position needed a bachelor's degree, you had a high school diploma, and you probably could pass me, right? But all in all, if you're a vet, I'm gonna give you like an extra benefit, right? Or something no or no. When I was in school in my university, I was the president of the student body my senior year, right? So I
Mm.
was that student government. That's the extra thing, right? But no one would know that, right? And so, if it's like a friend called or someone knew, hey, Jason, so and so applied for the job. Of course, they get an extra look, right? Is that fair? Maybe it is, maybe it's not, right? It's just the way the game works, right? So you have to network. You have to go put yourself out there. People have to know what you need. Also, another thing too, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, right? Everyone wants to help you, but no one's going to help you unless you say it out loud, right? I think too many people have too much ego, too much pride, and
Yep.
don't ask for help.
One of I believe, the most sound pieces of advice that I give to candidates coming through our pipeline is, you could be a hard worker. You can have an extremely, well-rounded skill set in Salesforce, and any, type of coding software. You can be an excellent salesman, but if you are not adaptable, then
Yeah,
nothing
adaptable,
matters.
coachable.
It does not matter. Talk to us about how are some of the ways you remain adaptable in the industry of HR because it's ever changing. I
Yeah,
believe it changes every
yeah.
few years. The landscape, how people approach it, whether through technology or LinkedIn. How are some of the
Yeah.
ways you're remaining adaptable in the space?
I think the key for me, everyone, like, you can't have no ego. Like, you have to have the mindset that you can learn from anyone, right? You can
Yep.
learn from, like, someone with 25 years of HR, or someone who's taking the first class of HR. Like, you have to learn and be willing to learn over and over again, right? Another thing, like, off topic, but like, one of my pet peeves is when people say they're an HR expert or expert at anything, right? Like, are you really an HR expert? Like, in everything, like payroll, finance, on and on. And not only you're expert. So you tell me you're like a benefits expert in Seattle, Tacoma, Denver, Colorado.
Hmm.
No, there's no way. Oh, and also leadership coaching, all that stuff. HR is like really expensive, right?
Yep.
And so whenever someone says I'm an HR expert, I just like roll my eyes, right? Now there's a few of them, don't get me wrong, there's a few of them, right? I think his name David Aldrich, or like the HR god or whatever, Steve Brown. the VP of this pizza place in Cincinnati. He's a firm board member. There's a few, but like if you're telling me if your LinkedIn profile says HR expert, and then it says 3 years as a junior recruiter, come on, guy, like are you serious right now?
Absolutely.
But you gotta be open to criticism, be willing to learn new stuff, and then you have to be realize odds are you most of the time you're gonna be wrong, right? Because HR is just so expansive and so personal.
Absolutely. Talk to us about how LinkedIn has impacted HR.
I think it's impacted a lot, right? I mean, like what other place can someone go on and say, hey, I'm Jason Cavness, I got laid off. Can someone help me find a job and lay it out there, right? Of course, you got to be open, like asking for help. I'm sure some of them get trolled or whatever, because why are you doing this on LinkedIn? You shouldn't be doing it right. And that's the network on LinkedIn is invaluable, right? Like I tell people, I have a love hate relationship with LinkedIn. I love it but I hate it because like the UX thing, it kind of sucks, right? The stuff they do on there, like sometimes, like man, the LinkedIn people, do you want people to use the platform or you don't, right? That's the stuff they
Mhm.
do on there, right? But I mean, that's like the all the time you see on the time, like, hey, my friend Jason got laid off. Here's his resume, and instantly you see like hundreds of like comments. Connect to this person, connect to that person, right? All the time people say, I got a job because of LinkedIn, right? I think it's a force multiplier for finding jobs, networking, fundraising. I mean, I think it's a pretty good platform. And like when people say, "Oh, I'm not on LinkedIn," I'm like, "Well, you're not trying to find a job, right?" Because like, I mean, like I could be wrong, but I don't know any recruiter who doesn't use LinkedIn in some kind of way, right?
Yep. All of them I know.
I
Two.
mean, imagine like someone applies for a job and you go on LinkedIn, it's not there. Like, dude, do you even want a job? Like, what are you doing right now?
I tell people, for every 100 friends on LinkedIn, that's probably worth about 1,000 on Facebook.
Oh, easily, easily.
Easily.
Facebook's such a
Easily.
joke right now.
Oh yeah, Facebook is crazy. So man, HR, the future of work is always a hot topic, for a couple months after out of the year. And as we move over into this, or move not over, but into this green technology space, talk to us about where you see HR 2030 and beyond.
I mean, I think like most things, AI is gonna have a big part in it, right? And big thing too, I think some. Hopefully, I'm right, but like I'll talk a lot of time, like with HR, there's like I said, call it old HR, new HR. Like old not for age, but like mindset, right? So old HR is like you have an HR person in the office, and someone will say, "Hey, do you hear Jason's gonna quit out of marketing?" I don't care. I run HR, not marketing. Like, are you kidding me? Right? That's your responsibility, right?
Sure.
Or someone might say, "Hey, old HR, Jason's like having challenge with the manager. He wants to come talk to you, but he can't get to after 5:30. I get off work at 4:30. I know what to tell him, right? Or best case scenario, like you work in a manufacturing plant, but you HR, you never go down there, right?
Hmm.
New HR like do the opposite, right? They're like, oh, Jason's from marketing is getting ready to quit. Let me start, drafting a job description. Let me go talk to him. Like, does he really want to quit or he's just mad for a bit, right? Those kind of things. If you're in a manufacturing plant, you're on the floor. I don't want to say every day, but like you're there most days, right? You're talking to people, doing that kind of stuff. And another big difference is like for old HR, let's suppose like you have this guy, right? He's your best worker, like by far your best worker, right? I mean, that's not even close, right? Been there for like 10 years, outdoes everyone, but he misses work for 3 days. And
Mm,
y'all have a policy that says anyone who misses work 3 days automatically gets fired.
mm.
Old HR, like, yeah, he's got to go. That's the policy, right? New HR can be like, okay, I know that's a policy, but can we at least like research or something? Like figure out what's out, make sure not in the hospital. And then even the boss says, hey, I know she have this policy, we're screwing ourselves, right? But the policy is a policy, we gotta fire this guy. New HR is gonna say, okay, I understand that. But there's nothing saying we can't hire him back the next day. They keep everything the same, right? And they change this stupid policy. I think new HR just have to open up new ways of doing things.
What about the job? I believe I have my idea of what about the job is the most difficult. Obviously, it can be firing somebody. It can be hiring someone. What about the job to you? You feel like takes the most out of you?
So I'll give a good example. So my first day, I had an HR job at Seafood, Alaska. They had never had an HR person before there, right? I got there. I make this time. As far as I got there 1 in the afternoon, my first day there, the plane had like 900 people. There's a line of 100 people at the door to come to me to complain. So that kind of stuff, right? It can kind of drain you, right? And like like I might not say this out. I should probably not say this out loud, but I will. Like HR, like any company got to have great company to be a company. However, a lot of people are not great, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not great. A lot of them just downright suck, right? They're like accident thieves, right? Over. And all things with HR, like talking about firing. A lot of managers, hey, HR, go fire, Billy Bob. That's not my job. You're the manager. You getting paid to do that. I'll train you, I'll coach you how to do it, but no, that's not my job, right? A lot of HR people get hooked in, the termination guy, right? Which isn't right.
Absolutely. So give advice to your younger self. You're just starting out your company, knowing what you know now. What have you? What, what would you have done differently?
Don't do it. Stay on the porch and drink bourbon all day long.
For sure.
Nah, it's just a man. That's a good one. I mean, like basically, like listen. I mean, listen to advice. Be more patient. Um, don't trust people. Like I trusted too much people in the early run. I thought everyone that was, had a good heart, or had my best interest in heart, and
Yep.
maybe they did, but the advice is like horrible, right? Um, enjoy the process more. Um, this probably. I mean, I wouldn't do this, but I would probably tell myself to learn how to code. Because being a not tech founder, this tech pieces that kick my butt. I've been through so many tech people. Some of them like nowhere near as good as they thought they were. A
Hmm.
couple of them, my mom stole money from me. So probably learn to code, but I tried. That's not my skill set. Um, I think that's probably it, right? Actually, definitely be more patient, right? And like probably, don't don't chase the shiny objects. So like one time this guy knew had this plan, like do like some kind of mentoring stuff. So I wasted 6 months on that because I thought we would get more customers. I wasted another 6 months doing something else, and that's those kind of things. And then like hiring people too, right? Like I bought in one tech co-founder, highly recommended. I saw what he built some great stuff, right? Uh, I paid him some money, bought him up to Seattle. Um, like he was just a flake all the way with capital F, right? Like one time he didn't come to work for a week. He told me he was had migraines. I mean, like I should have got rid of him a long time before I did, right? So I wasted time with that. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Mistakes you have to make,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately.
and you have to make them. That's the crazier part about being an entrepreneur
Yeah.
because if you don't make them early and you make them too late when
Yes.
you're having six. That's what we Rule and I talked about that extensively about you know coming from nothing and building from nothing
Yeah.
is easier than dealing with success.
Exactly.
You get that first big check or those first couple of big checks and you're like, we did it. There's almost like a
And that's
and
when the work just begins.
yeah, you can almost relax, but then you realize that's the time where you got to ramp up more.
Yeah,
You know,
and this guy is a good point. Like this guy, I mean, I paid him not decent money, but okay money. Imagine if he'd have came on when I was like really big, right? I was paying like real money that he needed, right? Oh
sure.
man, like I paid this guy like 200,000 a year,
Mm,
and he flaked out on me, right? And this money's gone, right?
mm. Yeah, no, it's definitely something that I had to learn with not expecting everyone's passion about an idea or a concept to be the same as my passion. As
Yeah,
much as I want to stay up all night, work 24 hours a day on getting it right, I can't expect the next person to carry that same.
yeah. People don't understand, right? They don't understand. Like no one, my wife, my kids don't understand. No one in my family understands. My friends don't understand. They have no clue. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're retired. Are you crazy?
Yep.
They,
Yep.
they they have no clue at all, right?
Yeah. No, if you're not willing to put your marriage on the line, you probably shouldn't be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur
Yep.
because you're going to stress your spouse. You're going to you know, take time away when, is you need to push a little bit more or you need
Yep.
a bit more of it. It's the inevitable, of an entrepreneur. And that's one thing I definitely had to learn is the balance of time.
So I joke around sometimes that my wife would rather have me working minimum wage McDonald's than doing this, because at least I'll be bringing some money in.
Oh, if I could be a stay-at-home dad, my wife would love it. Would love it. But I had to explain to her that would, doing that would drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I would be more miserable. You wouldn't like me. After a while. Because
And not only that, we would drive our wives. They'd become miserable too with us at the house all the time.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, no, this is a great conversation. I definitely am learning a lot from you. When it comes to just and being reminded, of being human as well. Because this entrepreneur game is something different.
Yeah,
When you gotta wake up and work and then pay your own bills and then pay payroll, et cetera, et cetera.
exactly right. I
You know.
know. There's always so much to do, right? Always something you're not doing, right? There's
Yep.
always something on your priority list you're not doing. Like, man, this is priority number 21 for me. I haven't done it in like 6 weeks. Maybe I should just take it off.
For sure. For sure. Uh, any advice to a young, newly graduating, individual just getting out of college? Because as we know, less than 50% of college graduates actually go into, their market of study. Any advice to them coming into this new landscape of job hunting and recruitment?
Yeah. So first of all, everyone's economic situations are different, right? So I got to throw that out there, right? All that's different, right?
Yep.
You have to get a job. You have to get a job. Second of all, this advice I'm gonna give. I'm pretty sure no parent is gonna agree with me, right? But if
Mhm.
you can, take a year and fuck off. Take a year and go do something fun. Go travel somewhere. Like take a year off and like start a business. Do something, because you have your whole time to work, right? If you can afford it, like just have fun. Like you spent 4 years. Some of us maybe spent 18 years in college. Whatever the case may be. But like if you can, like I I always say take a gap year. But like
Yeah.
do something. Like if you live your whole life in Seattle and plus you have a relative lives in like Atlanta, go to Atlanta for a few months. Hopefully you have a passport. Go to Cuba or Panama. And of course, like I said, economic situation is different for everyone. And like and maybe you can't fly to Atlanta. Maybe you have to take a Greyhound bus to Atlanta, right? And experiment, right? Like you said, only 50% of people get the job in degree, right? If you like post your degrees, like we're saying in like I don't know business, and maybe you want to find out about social media or like painting or what it case to be like experiment that you're actually you should be experimenting in college all your time, right? But like I said, I'm sure most parents like don't listen to Jason, right? Get your ass on a job and pay this, and pay off your bills, right? But like if you can't experiment, like the days of like working at 35 years old companies are all gone, right? There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with like having a job for a year, quitting, get another job for another year, right? I think those stats show like if you stay in a job for 3 or more years, you're actually losing money or something like that. I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. What I tell people is don't wait to graduate to look for a job.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah, yeah,
Most of these companies are looking for experience
yeah.
and what's between your head.
And that's good one, right? Like so many kids I know, like um, this job says entry level, but they want experience. I have no experience. Um, did you? And they're like a graduating like in 2 weeks. So you never apply for internship? I thought you did that after you graduated, dude. You're so far behind the power ball right now.
Yep, yep. No, one of the we had a candidate come through that I was extremely impressed by her because she realized that sometimes you have to take a job to gain the experience to get
Mhm.
the job that you really want. You
Yep.
and that's why I always say you have to be adaptable. Don't think that you're going to start out as in SaaS and in there. No way. Yeah,
Yeah. Expectation management is definitely a big thing.
yep, yep. You may end up digital programming, digital marketer. Your job is in this market. You're going to move around.
Yeah.
Especially in today's age. But
And Dre, I'll say one more thing. Like whatever job you take, like suppose they hire you to be like an HR clerk, right? Just don't do HR. Like try to find projects. Like, hey, go to marketing. Can I do a project for y'all? Like go to different areas. Or hey, what is sales? Can I help you out with this? Like make yourself indispensable to everyone, right?
yep,
Like learn the whole company. Just not your HR, right? What's the saying? Like, don't be a great HR person, be a great business person. Like suppose you work for uh Jones Towing Company. Don't
hmm
become an HR person, become a Jones Towing person, business person, right?
yep.
Whether it's marketing, sales, like learn the whole business and let people find out who you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Jason, for being here. With our quick rapid fire questions, for our ProDev hot seat. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at? Do you have a website? You're on LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so the website's www.CavnessHR.com. We're actually doing a crowdfunder right now on Refunder. That's refunder.com/CavnessHR. I'm on LinkedIn, Jason Cavness. TikTok, Jason Cavness, Instagram, Jason Cavness, pretty much everywhere. Also have my own podcast called the Jason Cavness Experience. Ruben's been on there. You got to come on too.
Absolutely.
Basically, it's like I talk to entrepreneurs, other interesting people. I've had like Ruben's been on. I've had a U.S. Olympian, a brain surgeon, the guy who was a photographer for the rock band, Queen. It's like a long form podcast. It's my shortest one has been an hour and a half. My longest one is 4.5 hours. I have like 5 bottles of bourbon here, so people drink bourbon. That's tend to be a lot better time. So it's not like that's. I mean, you meet a lot of interesting people, right? It's a good time.
For sure. No, I'm a whiskey guy myself.
Cool.
Fashion is.
Oh yeah,
that's where I'm at.
So right across from me, my building's in a Pioneer Square. The lady who like has the room across from me, she actually has a bartending thing.
Oh, okay.
And she's gonna come on actually show people how to make smoke old fashioned on the podcast next month.
Oh wow, I will definitely be there.
Yeah,
for sure. But thank you, Jason, for being here. Thank you for giving us your time.
No, thank you.
Thank you for giving us your knowledge. We want to thank all of our viewers out there who are tapping in for the Prodev Hot series. Once again, our special guest, Jason Cavness from
CavnessHR.
CavnessHR.
You know, it's crazy. Like 95% of people pronounce my name Cavness.
Oh no!
There's no E in this. It's like, yeah, there's no E in here.
I'm glad I got it right. I'm glad I got it right. But we're out of here, people. And thank you for tapping in.
Thanks for having me, Dre.